Yo, 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 how you all doing? How you all doing? I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday afternoon. Lads, I gotta do something. I forgot to do this. I forgot to change the name over here. I need to change the name. Because as you all know, we have rebranded the channel. It is no longer Baggy TV. It is no longer Baggy TV. Okay, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Angel, sorry, I was a little bit late. I was literally finishing off some things. So I apologize for being a couple of minutes late, but I think you can allow me to be a couple of minutes late. Listen, we got a lot to talk about, and a lot of this is news that I heard of as I was running some of my errands this morning. So I haven't really looked at them in a lot of detail, so we'll be doing that together. We'll be looking at all this news together, we'll be discussing it together, and we'll be sharing it together. Cheers, Angel, I appreciate that. Yeah, so we'll be looking at it all together and discussing it in one go. I've had a quick look as I was, driving, walking, but we'll discuss it together. Firstly, Baggy TV has now rebranded to the Blue Lounge. You can also call it the Chelsea Blue Lounge or the Blue Lounge, whichever way you want to call it. It's the Blue Lounge. It is no more Baggy TV. And for those of you who don't know where the name Baggy TV came from, I will explain all of that in due course. Bobby, welcome to the stream.
Hi, Baggy. Hi. I just saw you streaming. I've been missing quite a bit of your streams, but I thought because Blue Lounge is launching, I think this is the first one you're doing.
Yeah.
I thought, let me just come in and help my man.
Appreciate you.
I won't be here too long at this point, but I'm always with you, Baggy. You're a top man. You know how much I love you, man.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I was just in the middle of explaining to people where the name Baggy came from. Because Baggy is not my name. It's a nickname that I've had since I was a kid, playing SOCOM on the PlayStation. It was the PSN ID that I used. And I also had a gaming channel earlier in my life, and that was the name of the gaming channel. So I kept it going. And that's where the name Baggy came from. But as this is a Chelsea fan channel, and as we are growing in numbers, I wanted to make it more Chelsea oriented, and as blue is our color, and as we talk a lot, we chat a lot, we discuss a lot, I thought the name Blue Lounge kind of suited what we do. So that's what it is, and that's the new brand, the Chelsea Blue Lounge, or the Blue Lounge, whichever you want to call it. And by the way, my name is here we go. My name is Mohammed. Okay, abbreviated. You can call me Mo. So Mo Kasim or Mohammed Kasim, that's my name. You can use Baggy, I don't have a problem with it. Or you can use my actual name, which is Mohammed. So that's out there. Let's talk about the latest news. Panafrique is in the house. How you doing, my man? Panafrique, you got your mic on? Can't hear you, mate. Okay, Panafrique, we can't hear you. Maybe you have audio issues. Try to sort that out, mate, and we'll have your feedback. Listen, lads, the situation is as follows. Yesterday, we had a tweet. I'm going to put on the screen in just a second. This was yesterday. Okay, how do I... Let me see. Share screen. Okay, so this is a tweet that we saw yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. Okay, now Erling Haaland has no agreement on personal terms with any club as of today. But the real issue to signing Haaland this summer is Borussia Dortmund's position. All right, Borussia Dortmund insists no official bid received from Chelsea yet. Not even discussing about players included in the deal. So basically, This was yesterday. This was yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. Now, this suggests that a lot of the news that we've heard so far is accurate to a degree, but also inaccurate to a degree, because no bid has been posted or has been tabled. That doesn't mean that no discussions have taken place. Winter Surfer, welcome to the stream, my man.
Thank you. I feel
How
like
are ya?
I'm fine. I feel like with the Blue Lounge, I need a cigar. Like
Yeah,
whiskey in my hand,
you need to chill.
need a lounger.
Yeah,
Mo, I like the name change.
Cheers,
like
mate.
the
Cheers.
as well, but it's a nice change.
Yeah, no, I want to make it a more relaxed vibe, and I want to get more people interacting with it. So the lounge kind of suits, and me being from a Middle Eastern background, we have a lot of hookah lounges, shisha lounges. So I frequent them. I used to frequent them quite a lot before the pandemic. But yeah, it's good to have it on there. Exactly. And your gum is also yeah. No, so new vibes. So this is the tweet that we saw yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. Interesting tweet, and it has a lot that can be that we can discuss in respect to it. But before we talk about these, I want to bring you the other two tweets that are of interest. The second one, also from Fabrizio Romano, and this one was today. Where is it? This one here. All right. So, first part of paperwork has been signed by Donnelly Malan. Moved to Borussia Dortmund from PSV. PSV will receive 30 million euros. The deal will be announced once medical will be completed. Liverpool never made an official bid for Milan. Anyway, so this deal is also happening. It is coming to an end. Borussia Dortmund are getting a striker through the door. All right. Now, on the back of that, we saw this tweet today from Simon Phillips talking about, what was it, CFC something or other?
CFC news page.
CFC news page. Yeah. All right. Now, apparently, I don't know much about the CFC news page. But from what I understand, Simon Phillips thinks that they're credible and they have reported news in the past that are quite accurate. Now, I'm sure most of you guys have read this. I'm not going to read through all of it, but the gist of it is the bid could be coming because of the earlier transfer that we discussed for the PSV striker, and the bid could be in the range of 130 million. Contract details have also been confirmed. Erling Haaland will be getting a boost in his contract. Bonuses to be paid for winning the Premier League, the Champions League, a number of appearances and goals by Erling Haaland, 5 million for each one of those steps. Mm-hmm. So this deal could increase to 150 million euros. Well, actually, it's pounds on here. 150 million pounds. So this is the detail, the structure. We're talking about the wages being discussed. We're talking about the bonuses. And by the way, these details were also shown earlier in previous reporting. So all this information that we've seen come out today and yesterday, it's been coming out over the past few days. But it has become more apparent, and for Simon and for Fabrizio to be talking about these stories and these bits of information, that's credible information. That is credible information, in my opinion. You guys might agree, disagree. I'd love to hear from you. But in my opinion, the fact that these journalists are saying this is big. And Fabrizio Romano never said a bid hasn't or will not be made. It says a bid hasn't been made yet. This is the word yet. It's coming. Talks in regards to this must be happening because this details that's coming out, there's got to be something going on. I want to welcome Jim to the stream. How are you, my man? And Panafreak, how are you?
Not bad, thank you, bro. Not bad. How are you? All right.
I'm good. Good stream on Jim's channel yesterday, lads. So if you didn't catch that, I made my first video appearance. I've been on his channel before, but I didn't show my face. So this time I actually attended properly. So go check out Jim's channel. It's a good channel. Lads, tell me what your thoughts are. All right. I'm not going to ask you specific questions because you know what we're talking about. We've been talking about this for a couple of months now. So the information that's out there, tell me your point of view on this information and where does Chelsea stand today in regards to Erling Haaland deal? And the floor is open to everyone.
I don't think it really, from what's been said this morning and from what I've heard from Fabrizio, there's not really much new to what's been going on the last couple of weeks. There's nothing really that's surprised me in terms of the news that's coming out. The only thing that I would say is a little bit different is originally we were said or told that Chelsea were going to put 130 million bid in and that would just be it. So if Dortmund didn't accept that, then we'd probably just disappear. But the fact that we're looking to lay the 130 and then if Dortmund sort of throw it back in our faces, then look to throw in the 20 million add-on bonuses as well, it gives me a little bit more confidence to know that I think we'll probably get it done because it sort of reaches where and what they were looking to originally, Dortmund themselves. So I just, for me now, it's got to the point where it's, until Chelsea actually themselves say that they've put this in official bids, like I'm just going to be chilling and waiting because it's just the same recycled information for me at the moment with Haaland. I want to see the proof in the pudding, and there is a build up to it. And like I said before, it reminds me a bit of the Havertz deal in many ways when you look at it because it had this kind of build up where it dropped, and then it starts slowly sort of building up with speed. And I do think we're going to do it. I do think we're actually going to lay something. As before, there were a lot of people worried about, are Chelsea even going to be putting in the bid? I feel like it's building up for us to do something. And I do think it's got to be next week. Has to be next week. So we just have to see what happens.
The transfer of this new dude from PSV is quite potent in respect to the situation we're in. Can you guys tell me what your thoughts are on this? I think Bobby was about to come in.
Sorry, Bob, you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, as always, Jem, you're right. I think every single one of us here and everybody in the Chelsea community is agreed on one thing. Everything is lining up. There is clearly something going on. Even all the counter information coming out there, it's not solid. It's not really making sense. We are about to have a mega deal come out of Chelsea. And the processes of a club like us that is very careful with the deals they do is why it's been elongated. I think Chelsea fans are going to celebrate this like we celebrated our Champions League victory back in May. We're all waiting for this. We all want this. I think the club wants it. You're right about Dortmund buying in a new striker. There are some people coming in to say, they would have done it anyway because they're looking for strength in depth. Nah, Dortmund aren't that sort of club. They're looking for business, and they're looking to make sure they can sustain business, and they're bringing in reinforcements for this big deal that is imminent. Their position is obvious. They're not going to say they want to get rid of the player. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to say anything counter. They're just waiting for Chelsea to drop the money. And Chelsea is just feeling around until they're almost 100% sure that whatever they drop is going to be accepted. It's happening. Yeah. I admire those guys that stick to their guns, take the rational stance that this deal is happening. We know who they are. They've said this from the beginning, and I'm going to big up them when the deal happens because there's been a lot of things coming left, right, and centre to try and shake your mind. But when you see something real like this, I tell you what, all Chelsea have to do is drop the money. And I tell you what, if Dortmund are stupid enough not to agree, we should walk, and I would never blame them because it's big money at the right time.
And Andrew?
So I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on because a conspiracy theory of mine is that about 10 days to 2 weeks ago, there was a report that Dortmund was struggling to meet certain wages or valuation for Marlon by about 5 million. I remember Marlon's a Raiola client. He's a Raiola client, okay? Then we had that FIFA news this week about agents' fees, yeah, about possibly being stripped back from next season. And then miraculously, about 24 hours later, the Marlon news dropped about him agreeing the Dortmund fee, yeah, about going to Dortmund. And now this news about Chelsea. That's just with my tinfoil hat. Now I'm going to take it off, yeah. What I will say is this. I think the £130 million it might be rejected, but I think then the add-ons will come in, like Jim said. But they're realistic add-ons, so they're probably looking like, barring any injury, and if he hits the ball running, we're going to get definitely £140 million out of this, or whatever the Euros equivalent is, because of the appearances and the goals, right? The other 10 million is up in the air because we don't know if we're going to win the Premier League or Champions League. We like to think so. But I've always thought that Dortmund always thought we were never going to put in a bid, and that's why they were comfortable saying, "Oh, we're planning with him. He's going to stay." But they probably got the back mind, we're never going to have to think about selling him this summer because Chelsea, it's just all talk. They're not going to do anything. Then no one's going to put £100+ million bid in. We're fine. He'll go. We're happy with him going next year, and that's why they said. Oh, that's why reports come out going, oh yeah, they're happy to keep him for a year. They'll go next year because I think inside of Dortmund they believe no one is going to come up with a figure for us to sell him. If that changes, and if they then reject the 130 million and 130 million add-ons, I'm fine with Chelsea walking away. Chelsea have done what they need to do. That's on Dortmund then. It's then my thing is then, who do we go for somewhere else, or do we leave it? Do you know what I mean? Because or do we do any transfer business at all? Because we are then what 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away, right? Just over 2 weeks away from the Super Cup, 3 weeks today or yesterday from the Premier League starting. You know, it might, if it's accepted, you could see it possibly wrapped up this week if it's accepted this week. Only because I believe personal terms and agent fees are done.
Yeah. First of all, welcome to Talk Blue. Welcome to the stream. I wanna also throw something else in because we talked about 3 pieces of information, but there's another piece of information I can't confirm because I wasn't watching. I didn't see the Dortmund preseason fixture, but apparently Erling Haaland wasn't really playing out of his skin. He wasn't even happy to be there. Apparently, people are talking about him, being not motivated, not wanting to be there, looking not to get injured in case. I don't know. I didn't see it. So did anybody here see it? Did anybody here see anything? Any clips? Anything to confirm that?
No, but you could just put 2 and 2 together. It's pre-season. He's not going to be busting the gut running around. He's just came back from a long break. Like people just like with things like that. It's like I don't know, Baggy. I think it's just what you choose to see at the time, and in his own reactions, is the way he's playing the game, what he's doing on the pitch and things like that. But I don't think he's just doing that on purpose, just to give us a glimpse that it's showing that he don't care anymore and he wants to come to Chelsea. I don't think professional footballers do that. But I didn't see it.
To be fair, Kai Havertz did kind of do that when it came to the last few weeks of his transfer, and I think it's because he was trying to push for it while Leverkusen were adamant to try to postpone it for another season, as Dortmund are doing now, apparently. So Kai Havertz, he played on the pitch. He didn't, play in a manner which caused his team to lose. But at the same time, the way he was standing, he was like away from the group. He was in the tunnel. He was by the wall. I saw them pictures, and it looked like Kai Havertz was pushing for that last season. But will Erling Haaland be doing that for a transfer of that magnitude, for a player who is one of the biggest stars in the game at the moment, especially at his age and at his level? So it's a bit of a weird one. Panafik, you've been quiet, man. What's your thoughts on this? Panafik, I can't hear you, mate. Yeah, I think you're not muted, but there's audio issues. You might have to change the settings, Panafreak. Talk Blue. What's your thoughts on this, mate?
So all my thoughts is first of all, okay, Haaland signs. Will there be unrest like in the changing room? Because obviously he's going to be earning the most. He is probably one of the biggest transfers ever. Will there be unrest? Like, will Mason Mount, will the Kai Havertz, Werner feel like a bit more sad because this guy is earning much more. He has priority. He's the biggest player there is, and will that cause like unrest with all the people? And
Okay.
also it goes for Armando Broja because obviously he's a striker as well, and he'll be outshone by Haaland, and maybe he will leave the club as well. So these are my questions.
I'm not bothered by that. Sorry, I'm not bothered.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not-
with all due respect, it's two different levels we're talking about here. We're talking about a player that Chelsea will be depending on heavily moving forwards for the next decade. We're talking about a potential star being born in regards to Armando Broja. I don't think Chelsea are looking they'll prioritize the career or the future of the club over the career of any individual. They will give that career space and room to go and develop, but at the same time they wouldn't do that at the expense of the season and the success of the club. Armando Broja, what he's going to think about the contract and whatnot, I don't really think that's going to have a massive impact on the club's decision in regards to signing Erling Haaland. I do agree that his contract being so big will have a ripple effect in regards to Kante, in regards to other players on the team who may want to also renegotiate their contract. And that's going to happen regardless of whether or not we get Erling Haaland. And again, it's a good question, Talk Blue. What do you guys think? Jem, Bobby, Winter Surfer, and Panafreak, if your mic is working again.
Hello, can you get me now?
Yeah. Go ahead, Panafreak.
Oh, okay, yeah. First of all, I want to give a little take on the Haaland situation. For me, I have 100% confidence that Haaland will play for Chelsea next season. It's just a matter of time. Just like the same way we did with Kai Havertz and the others last season, I think it's the same way we'll do our business. We'll just keep it quiet, and before we know, everything is at the latter stages of the negotiation. Chelsea is not known for doing loud businesses. Yes, the media will always do speculations and they will come up with all sort of articles, but you know how Marina does her business. Quiet, simple, and she goes for the killer bomb, and before you know it, and it's a big announcement. I just strongly believe that we'll have the striker we need, because Haaland for me is the striker we need. He's that 25 goal striker we need to win the league, and that's the difference. And I also believe that by the time we do the first announcement, then we'll see players from the other positions that are key to us that we really need this season. We'll get those negotiations done before the start of the season.
Okay. Just two comments that I want to mention before I'll let you. I think Jem wanted to get in on this, and so did Andrew. But before we do that, Fal Diaso, and I think this is an account of one of the panelists. He said this. He says, I actually watched the Dortmund game. He played okay, looked happy, but still he was avoiding the 50-50 tackles, I guess. Like Jim said, it could also be just its pre-season. And good comment there. Also, I think Kante is on high wages, but I'm not sure if it's 300k. I think it's just
in
under.
Discussions for it.
290.
Yeah, I think
It's
290,
around
280.
Yeah, he's in discussions to go 300 or above. So.
Yeah. Lads, so your thoughts on the contract situation generally with Erling Haaland coming to Chelsea and how that is going to have an effect?
I think, go on, Winter Surfer, go. I'll go after you.
Thanks. If it's reported 300k, that's pretty lower than anyone probably was expecting. Especially with the reports of Riola wanting him like one highest paid players in the world already. I mean, no doubt it will be incentive laden, I think, goal bonuses and everything like that. regarding anyone coming in, I mean, everyone's going, what about Mount? Mount just signed a new contract last year. We really don't have to negotiate with him for another 18 months to 2 years. Kai Havertz, if he balls out this year, I would start negotiating with him again next year. Pull in. Kante's about to sign a new contract that's going to go 300k. I don't think Rudiger and Christensen are going to sign new contracts, but I don't think they'll go anywhere near 200. It happens. It happens. I mean, you know, John Terry and Frank Lampard were very smart in their contract with Chelsea, because whenever someone new came in and they were given higher wages than them later on, they had I think it's called a Fair Nations thing, where they got like equal pay to them. So maybe some people should start doing that. I don't know if we'll do that, but if he comes in, he comes in. I'm sorry, 300k is a bargain if he's coming in at 300k a week. From what we're reading, he's going to be worth it. And for Broja, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not putting. I'm sorry. If Broja has to go out on loan, he just signed a new 5-year deal. He has to go out on loan. I'm sorry. I'm getting Haaland in over everyone. I understand what you're saying. If Broja's upset by that, then I'm sorry. That's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
It's best for Broja. Actually, it's best for Broja to go on loan to a Premier League club and get some game time.
If Haaland comes in, I think Broja goes out on loan.
I don't know, because
Tammy definitely goes if Haaland comes in. Broja may, but what I'm saying is, I'm not worried. Unfortunately, it sounds callous. I don't care what Broja thinks if Haaland comes in.
I don't think Broja wants to be the main man or thinks he's going to be the main man. I think Broja's happy to be the man that's on the bench, that's got the opportunity to be in the first team and play games here and there if he gets the opportunities, FA Cups, whatever else. I think that's where Broja's mind is in terms of that. But in terms of the contract scenario, I agree with everything that Andrew says, but I think there's a bigger picture to look at when it comes to this deal, and it's not just what happens at Chelsea, but what it potentially does to Premier League football, world football, because it's a signing that many clubs haven't done. You look in the Premier League, not one club has signed a player over the 100 mil mark. Chelsea are about to do that. Not only does it affect us, it's going to affect other clubs. It's going to trigger the Man Cities to buy Harry Kane and maybe put down 130, 140 because they're going to look at Chelsea and think, hang on, they mean it. They're on business. You know what I mean? They're going for the league this season. If they get Haaland, maybe they think we're going to win the league. So that will trigger them to start doing that. And then moving forward, world football's only going to have money thrown at it more so. So this 150 million, which is a lot in this current stage of where we are in society, is going to be peanuts in the next 2 to 3 years to me. We'll be looking back and laughing at figures like 50 million, 60 million. It's going to be the hundreds, the 200s, the 300s. So if we're going to be the guys that set the tone from now, then do it. Because at the end of the day, we're only going to make that money back in the long run. Trust me.
It's money in football.
Exactly.
Again. I'm old enough to remember when Trevor Francis went for $1 million, and there was all this kerfuffle over £1 million player, you know. And I just think, you know what, there's no question of all this talk. Oh, will it upset the dressing room and all that? Chelsea are used to a big sort of wage structure as it is. It's just that they control it within boundaries. And they would have done the due diligence of this. They would have done their homework. They would have set people up on extended contracts as necessary. And this is big-time football. Players don't necessarily look at other players' contracts. They're focused on their own. And I don't see it. I think this deal is going to happen, should happen, is beneficial to all and sundry. And as you rightly said, even the Premiership, even football, after this glut in finances, it needs financial injections like this. And the funny thing about it is that a madness could happen from this deal. You know, as you said, we dropped 130. City's going to drop 140, 150 for Kane. Okay. And there'll be money all over the place. So it's win-win everywhere.
Bobby, guys. Yeah. Good players like to play with good players, okay? If your Mount has Havertz, Pulisic, whatever, if you've got Haaland coming in and he hits the ground running and finishes off your passes, your stats go up. Which means you can go to the ball and go, guys, I laid on so many goals and so many. Your play gets better, which means when you go into contract negotiations, your platform, what you're standing on, is higher as well. So I don't. While at the start, I'm always getting higher than me. I'd be thinking, all right, I've got now someone who can finish. No offense to Werner or anything. I've got this guy who's a lethal finisher who I know if he's in the box, I lay it on for him. He's just going to smash the ball and see where it goes. Do you know what I mean? That would be my thinking if I was like a Mount or something like that. If I had those
Jorginho, Ziyech,
Yep,
Havertz.
absolutely.
I'd be going. My stats are going to go instead of people going, I created so many big chances. They're going to go, my God, Mason Mount's got 18 assists this season or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That would be my mindset, and then I'll go, okay, so I did that last season. I want a pay bump. You know what I mean? That's what I would do.
Yeah. Listen, lads, we've got over 115 people in the stream. So thank you all. It's just jumped to 126, so brilliant. Lads, but I've only got, what is it? How many likes? 34 likes. 34 likes. Come on, lads. What are you playing at? Come on.
That happened to me yesterday. I had like 150 people there and only like 40 likes. And then all of a sudden, bang. Come on, guys. Get up to 100 likes.
I don't think they've got the guts to get to 100 likes this channel.
You know. Hey, there's a challenge there for you. There's a challenge there for you by the Winter Surfer. The Winter Surfer says you can't do it. Come on. Reverse psychology at its best. Lads,
if you don't like
do
this
us a
stream, you're
favor.
a Spurs fan. You don't like this
Wow.
stream, you're a Spurs fan.
Hey, listen.
Smash the like button for
Prove him
Haaland.
wrong.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Right, we're up to 55, so that's good. That's good. Let's try to get it to 100. Let's try to get it to 100. And if you're new, listen, lads, if you're new to this stream, all right, you need to be subscribed to the Blue Lounge. I was going to say back in TV for a second. You need to be subscribed to the Blue Lounge, and also KH No Filter Football, and also Gem's channel. Remind me, GNA Football, GNA TV.
GNA TV.
It's in my name here.
So, yeah, I just seen it. So, lads, you got to subscribe to these channels. Great debates on the regular. And my advice to all Chelsea fans is watch as many debates as you can, because that's the best way for you to get a good perspective on what's happening at your club. All these videos that we're watching, they're good, but if you're not able to interact, you can't really get to see the actual reaction of the fans. So I'm really pleased to see the people here, Panafreak, Bobby, Jem, Andrew, Talk Blue, everyone here and everyone that's gonna come on and that has been on. It's a good debate, good discussion. Listen, my key thing about today's news. My key thing about today's news is this transfer from PSV. And the fact that the person in charge of handling this transfer is also the person in charge of handling the Erling Haaland transfer. Are things starting to click? Are things starting to gel? Because, the fact that only a few days ago, we had someone who I classify as part of the Haaland camp, Jan Arg Voitov, coming out and talking about this 130 million euro bid. And all it takes is for Chelsea to place this bid. We see this PSV transfer happening with a striker coming in. And lads, this is a striker. This is not a winger. All right? This dude played as a winger a few seasons back. I think one of the YouTube content creators talked about this as well. I'm trying to remember who. But he had a couple of seasons as a winger, but he's been playing as a striker for the past couple of seasons. He is not coming in to replace Jadon Sancho, because people are saying Marlon is coming in to replace Jadon Sancho because he's gone. Nah, he's not. Okay, Jadon Sancho replacement is still to be found, and I think maybe that could be something incorporated in the next deal, maybe. But Marlon coming in, he's coming in for Erling Haaland to go out. He's clearing the way for him to move out. I think we can read a lot into this, or we can just push it aside. But there's no smoke without fire, and there's a hell of a lot of smoke. People are suffocating right now in the Chelsea community, man. People are suffocating.
Yeah, I think Dortmund are just doing their business way ahead of time so that they are prepared for Haaland's departure. And let's look at it this way: next season, the agent fee is 10% of a player's signing on fee, and he won't want to lose so much money for this Haaland deal, because if he gets to next season, he'll earn like 7.5 mil from Haaland's deal because of his release clause. Now, Mino is waiting for Chelsea to just make any offer before he'll put any pressure on Dortmund. He cannot just put pressure on Dortmund to let Haaland go when there hasn't been an offer for Haaland. So I believe when Chelsea makes the move, then you start hearing Mino speaking out more and more about his client and the new challenge for his client. So now he's just playing the cool boy and waiting for
Yeah.
any official bid before he makes his usual noise.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You know, it can be played any which way. It can be played any which way. Listen, lads, we've just hit 181 people in the chat. Seriously, that's the biggest number I've had at any one point on my streams. So a big thank you to all of you. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. I want to digress a little bit. And I want to talk about this scenario. If Chelsea don't land Erling Haaland, because that's a possibility. You know, I think we'll bid that money. But if we don't get him, what is the alternatives? And I think Jem has something to say on this. So, Jem, what's your perspective in regards to the Erling Haaland situation not panning out the way we think it might? What's Chelsea going to do?
I'm hearing that there's still talks about Lukaku, that there's a potential Lukaku offer or a stunning contract offer that's potentially going to be offered to Lukaku if Chelsea can't bring in a Haaland. How true that is, I don't know. But it is been tweeted on Twitter just now as well through someone as themselves. So look, Lukaku as a backup, I thought, to be honest, that the Lukaku thing was squashed. The same time, I don't see how Chelsea if they don't get Haaland, and it's a big if, because I do think if we lay the money, we get him. Let's just be serious. If we don't get a Haaland, I don't see how Chelsea still do not sign a striker. So I do think they've probably got other alternatives. They've probably maybe had talks behind the scene with other individuals as backup, purely as backup, because we still don't know how Dortmund are going to react to the offer. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, like I said, I've heard obviously that there's a stunning contract been set up for Lukaku as a backup if we do not sign Erling Haaland, or they don't accept the bid for Erling Haaland this season. So let's see.
Traffic, just give me a second. I want to say a big thank you to Blue Clouds TV for supporting the Blue Lounge. Big up to you, and much love and respect for your support. Bobby, he's got to go to work. So Bobby, it was a privilege having you on. Always a pleasure to hear your point of view on air, and you know you're always giving a sound perspective and a logical perspective in regards to the Chelsea news. So thank you for being part of the stream. Appreciate you, mate, and thanks for the donation. Sorry, Panafik, you were saying, mate, I cut you off. I apologize.
Yeah, I was saying that if we make a bid of 130 million for Haaland and Dortmund turns are down, why not tempt Spurs for Harry Kane? I think if we tempt Spurs with that money, they might have to think about it.
There's just no way. There's no way they're going to negotiate with Spurs. There's so much bad feeling with that. I think there's still so much bad feeling. I know I said before maybe it's eased because it's been like 10 years, but I just think negotiating with that, the way Chelsea like to structure payments as well, I don't think they would do that with Spurs. And I just think there's. I don't think there's any point. I don't think Harry Kane's got his mindset on Man City as well. I don't think he's got his mindset on us, and I just don't. I think it's a no-go. I mean, talk about a club who we bid 50 million for a player one season and they sold him for 30 the season after, just to spite us. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and Levy's such a. We think Marina's a tough negotiator. Levy is as well, and. The problem with Spurs, they always like to take it to like the last week of the season, and I don't want to wait. Then I want to get the player in. I want to get him acclimatized as soon as possible, you know, and we can hit so we can go into the. Do
you guys realistically think that Harry Kane is a target we should be pursuing when there's alternatives? I mean, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Harry Kane comes with baggage. You know, with the club that he plays for, the potential us overpaying for him. while there's alternatives that are not as good, granted, in regards to their age, in regards to where they are in their career. I'm seeing people talking about Lewandowski in the chat, that he might be a good alternative. In regards to price, in regards to what he can provide for Chelsea, what he has provided throughout his career, because the guy has never been a flop, never. Okay, and he's always been outperforming, season after season. So him coming in, would you guys be happy with that? I mean, I know what Jim was saying about Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku is also another alternative, but Lukaku comes with a bigger price tag. And with Inter Milan, we discussed this, I think, on your stream yesterday, Jim.
Yeah.
With Inter Milan, knowing that Chelsea could not sign Erling Haaland, they'll be pushing the Lukaku price way higher than the market value, and then we'd have to overpay for him.
Yeah.
So, where do you guys stand on this?
I think whoever, if we're going to look to get a Lukaku, a Harry Kane, which I don't think we'll get, or a Lewandowski, any of them clubs that have seen what Chelsea have been trying to do with Dortmund and see that we have the money to raise of around 130 million for Haaland, are going to want that money for him, especially last minute. They're gonna hold us to ransom. They literally are. And even with the Lewandowski thing, I just no way do I believe that he's worth 50 million. It just don't make sense. You got to bear in mind he's still their talisman. He's still bagging 40 odd goals a season. It's not like, all right, he's getting older. He's 32, but he's still he's if you look at what he's still doing at Bayern Munich, he's still the man. He's still the man there. Do you know what I mean? So for them to let him go, they're going to want some sort of decent money for him. I just don't think it will be around them figures. I think it'll be more in the hundreds. I really do. I still keep saying it, 90 to 100 mil at least for someone like Lewandowski, even at that age, because of what, if you look at his stats and what he's still providing, it pretty much answers Chelsea's problems, instant success, and potentially allowing us to challenge straight away. It's not someone that we can rely on in the long run, but if we want someone for now, then Lewandowski would be a good shot. The problem I got with it is that I just think it's going to be expensive. And with Lukaku, you still have a bit of time. So if there is a contract offer for Lukaku, as what Andreas is saying here as well, which we've got as backup, then that would make more sense. It's just that, I don't know. I mean, are you guys happy with Lukaku, the option of Lukaku coming to Chelsea or coming back to Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear us preparing. If Haaland's a no-go, I want us to go to Lukaku and offer like that and get it done. If it's not one of them two, I'm going Kane's a no-go from the start, just because of the club he's at. Just negotiate with that club is just a no-go for me. Because I'd love to sign Kane. No, everyone would, and if anyone doubts him or anything like that, then I don't know what you're thinking. But yeah, I want them prepped to go. Okay, Haaland's not coming. Who's the next? And for me, it's Lukaku. For me, this is based on just his quality, not based on if he loves. I don't care if he loves the club or supported the club. That means nothing to me, because I just want him banging in goals and winning us games. And I fear though that Inter Milan may put up his price, knowing what we've gone in for Haaland.
Yeah,
and instead of like a couple of weeks ago, the 100 million euros to like 85 million pounds or something like that, they might go like 120 million euros, which is basically like 100 million pounds, and that might put us off, given that he is 28, and Chelsea always look at a transfer deal as part maybe of selling on as well. What can they recoup in the future, possibly? And they might think a bit like that it's not good business. But if they were to go for him, I've got no issue whatsoever.
Andrew, would you pay 100 million for Lukaku, or would you pay 50 million for Lewandowski? Bearing in mind, Lewandowski is like a couple of years older than Lukaku, and he's not played in the Premier League while Lukaku has. Where would you go? Because we might end up having to make that choice, and it does look like Chelsea have already made that choice. If they don't get Haaland, it does look like that they're leaning towards one rather than the other. But you, as a Chelsea fan, what would you want to see? And also, this is for everyone else in the panel.
This might sound a bit mad. I'm going to pay for Lukaku.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. He's younger. He's played in the Premier League. Remember, he's played at West Brom and Everton, so we're not talking about like he's always been at a great clubs. He's played for West Brom and Everton and banged the goals in. I know everyone's going to say Lewandowski easily because if they put two players side by side and leave it like that, you would choose Lewandowski naturally. I just think Lewandowski, 33 going to 34, would he adjust to the pace of the Premier League? So no doubt his finishing is far better than Lukaku. I'm just talking about all-round game. I just think Lukaku wouldn't need, I know he's been away for a couple of years, I just don't think he would need that much adjustment to the pace of the Premier League. And it might sound mad, but I would pay the money for Lukaku. I really would. I think you're gonna get more years out of him as well than you would say Lewandowski. And I just feel with Lewandowski.
Do you also add to that the fact that Lukaku feels that he has something to prove at Chelsea and he still has a legacy that he wants to fulfill? Maybe.
I think that. I said earlier, like I don't care if he supports the club or loves the club. I think that's great mindset because he wasn't never really given a chance by Chelsea whatsoever. I know he missed that penalty in the Super Cup and then he was gone, but he's proven himself. We're talking about West Brom. Top scorer, Everton top scorer, and look at his Everton stats. They went up assists and goals season by season. I think he had a great first year at Manchester United. I really do. Second year, okay, but everyone always focuses on that second year. He's gone to Italy. He's changed his lifestyle, thanks to Antonio Conte as well, no matter how some Chelsea fans may feel about him. He's changed his lifestyle. He's scored goals. He scored goals in Europe, in the league, and he's helped them win a Scudetto for the first time in 10 years. He's helped Lautaro Martinez as well. He's not just a goal scorer machine; he's a powerhouse. He's laid on a number of assists as well, and I just think someone like that build, like a Haaland and Lukaku, is set up for this team. We've always done well with big strikers, physical strikers in this team. We don't really do well with like smaller strikers like that. Just this team is built to be a powerhouse, and I think. You naturally take Lewandowski for the reputation. I would just take Lukaku overall. I think it would sort us better.
I think you've got two options, and it depends how you want. Yeah, I think there's two ways you can go with this. You don't get Haaland. You sign Lewandowski, that's going to give you instant success. People would say, well, he hasn't played in Premier League. You know what Bundesliga strikers are like. This we're talking about Lewandowski. He's world-class striker. He'll do it anywhere for me. I think he's that good, and I do think. In the way that we create and how we create, he would score goals all day and every day. You do that, you get Lewandowski in for 50 million, and then you go and sign a Danny Ings, for example, as backup, and you let Tammy go. I think we could possibly get away with that moving forward. Yes, it's not the long-term goal, but it allows us to potentially still compete and at least try and bring instant success to the football club, if that makes sense. If you don't do that, then you do what Andrew says. You bring in the Lukaku, who's improved his game in Italy. You potentially hope that he comes back and he can have the same sort of influence that he has in Italy back in the Premier League. He has got a point to prove, and he might potentially in himself want to come back and be the main man, and especially at Chelsea, a club that he did love. Let's be serious. I think he still has a bit of a soft spot for her as well. So in a way, it is a win-win situation. If you ask me, preferably what I would do, I'd probably go with Lewandowski and Ings to start with. But that's my preference. It's more of a preference thing, I think, more than anything. So I think they're both good players.
Just 1 second, lads. I'm getting some really, really bad comments in the chat. Steve Chelsea, I've made you a moderator. I would like you to moderate all the racist comments that I've seen in the chat. Just block them. Block them. Not timeouts. Just block them. Anyone being racist, block them. And in regards to is this Baggy TV? Not anymore. It was. It was Baggy TV. Now it's the Blue Lounge. It's the same channel, the same, the same stuff that you were watching, that you were getting before, hopefully with a little bit more of a positive twist moving forward, a little bit more of a chilled vibe moving forward, as per discussion between me and Andrew earlier. It's gonna be better content, hopefully. I'm trying to try new things and do new things, but it's still the same. New brand, new name.
Get rid of that station secret, please.
Yeah, get rid of him. What is he doing?
Just put hide, please. Don't put the time.
Just block him. Just actually block him. Like, remove him. Like, don't even block him for 5 minutes.
Don't need you. Man.
People like that are fools.
Yeah, don't need you, man. You can go away. Yeah, creep back into the hole you just called out, please.
So let's get back to this the situation. Me personally, I think whichever way Chelsea decide to go, they got to do that quite quickly. We discussed this on GNA TV yesterday. We got to see something happening this week with Erling Haaland. Otherwise, we got to start making moves elsewhere. And this is why I think it's crucial that we will get something concrete this week. Eric Blue is joining the chat. Eric Blue, how are you?
I am good, man. I'm doing better than I was a few weeks ago. So, yeah, I just thought I should come in and get involved.
All right. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts in regards to the bits of news? Have you seen the bits of news that we were talking about regarding PSV striker coming into Dortmund and a structure revealed for the transfer of Erling Haaland and other bits and bobs? Have you been following these bits of news?
I've been following very little, but I know the general gist. Yeah, I'm not too sure, man.
Give me your feelings in regards to Erling Haaland deal and where we're going to be by the end of the week, hopefully.
Okay, so by the end of the week, we should have made a bid. We should have made a bid for sure. Whether it gets accepted or not, that's a different story. But we should have made at least a bid. Hopefully, it's close to what Dortmund would ideally want. Close to 150. So that's what I'm expecting at the very least. But I also want a DM, but obviously there doesn't seem to be anything happening with the DM situation. But if we get Haaland, that's we can challenge for the league without a DM. So that's the main target. With regards to the other one, I'm not sure about that one, man. I'm not too sure.
All right. Well, you raised a very good point, because the striker situation is not the only target we're looking at. And, for Chelsea to go and buy a DM, a defender, a left back, a winger, that ain't going to happen until we have actually secured the transfer of our striker, because then we know how much money we have to play with. How much is that going to cost us? What's left for the other transfers? Now, where do you guys stand in respect to this? I mean, Declan Rice is quite expensive. Tchouameni, possibly. Other alternatives have also been mentioned. Some unrealistic, like me and Jim talked about. Some of the old players coming back, but that might not happen. So what do you guys think? DM. We have to get a DM. Which direction are we going to be going in, and how is it going to happen? How is it going to pan out?
It don't happen if we sign Haaland.
Rice don't happen.
I think there's a possibility that you might see us bring in someone from the academy to fill that hole, or if not that, if we do sign someone, it's going to be someone that's not a Declan Rice, 70 million, 60 million. I just don't see Chelsea doing both, if that makes sense. I really don't. I know we've sold players. We've made 50 mil. We could probably still sell a couple more by the end of the transfer window, potentially close up to about 100 mil. I think the more of the reason why we're doing that is to free up the wages on our books, because we have a lot of deadwood players that are getting paid stupid amounts of money at the moment, like Baba Rahman, who's taking 95 grand a week from Chelsea, and he doesn't even play for us. So I think it's important that we, I think Haaland don't happen. I still think we're going to get a striker. Whether it's Lukaku, Lewandowski, whoever it is, we will bring someone in. I would be surprised if we don't get a striker and we just bring in a Declan Rice and spend that 70 mil or 60 mil on that, and that's it. That would surprise me. Right. But yeah.
Yeah. I want to say a big welcome to Burton Ballers, and also a shout out to Jake.
Hey guys.
First time on this channel. How you guys doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks. All good.
Doing all right, man.
Max.
Yeah.
Let me know your
Hi,
thoughts
Josh.
on the stories that we've heard today and the breaking news that we've heard today. Apparently, it's breaking news. What's your point of view on this, mate?
You know me, I'm always one of these guys who's quite realistic, and I say that until I don't get excited about these things until they actually happen, or until the club has actually come out and said, "Look, we've made an official bid" or whatever. It's the noise is good, it's positive, yeah, but I'm just cautious. I don't want to take myself up to the highs just to go down to the lows. I'm a bit older than a lot of you guys, so I remember back in the day some of the players we were linked with, and I remember we were linked with Johan Cruyff way back, and it was like, whoa, we're getting Johan Cruyff. He ended up joining New York Cosmos, and there was another time we were linked with Kevin Keegan, and he actually went to Newcastle United. So sort of being with a Chelsea supporter for years, it's kind of made me a bit, more not cynical, but just a little bit cautious when we get these deals. I'm hoping, there's no smoke without fire. A lot of noise, a lot of big journalists out there kind of reporting it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this can happen. But we could put the bid in, 130, yeah. But Dortmund still have to accept it. They'll be silly not to, but you know what Dortmund are like as well. They don't operate like some other clubs. So I'm just waiting. So once the bid's gone in, then we can assess what Dortmund are going to do. So,
Max, the main concern we have right now is this bid has taken so long that it could actually have a fallout in regards to the other positions that we're looking at, like the DM, the centre back, the wing back. How do you see this panning out? I mean, how much time do we have to get this deal to the door?
But you know what? If anyone said to me, if you could strengthen one position this season at Chelsea, what would it be? I say centre forward. So for me, even if it means missing out on some of the other ones, to me, if we get into Haaland, we are contenders straight away off the bat. I think we're strong in the midfield. Okay, another central midfielder would help, yeah. But when you look at what we've got already at the club, I think that we got guys who can probably compete for the title there. Central defence, the way that Tuchel's got the guys playing at the back, I think we've got we're quite well stocked in that area as well. Right wing back, probably, maybe another one, especially with Livramento leaving. Probably that's an area that we'll probably need to strengthen in, just simply because Azpilicueta is getting a bit older. Reece James, I've never seen as a sort of right wing back for the Tuchel way that he wants to play. Simply because I see him more of one of the three in the centre, and he's got the ability to commit and go beyond. But I don't think his first instinct is to attack that flank like you see Ben Chilwell does on the other side. So if we can get in another one, but even if we do, so there's talks about Traore, isn't there? Dami Traore and some others. That would probably be an easier deal to do. So 30 million, I think we'll get him. So a lot of these other deals maybe are easier to do. Declan Rice would probably, if we were to go for Declan Rice, that will be more of a difficult deal because it's going to be big monies and West Ham don't want to sell. But even if we went for someone like a Tchouaméni, that would be an easier deal to do as well, because I think we can get that sorted within days. So concentrate on the more difficult targets first, then fill in the other areas afterwards.
Listen, lads, I have 370 people in the chat right now, and I've only got 100 plus likes. If we're not doing a good job, lads, then we apologize. But if we are doing a good job, then give us some likes. Really appreciate that. And if everyone in the chat right now subscribes, I'd hit 7,000. So I'd appreciate that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the like button. I would very much appreciate it. Jake, you've been quiet, mate. What's up? How you doing?
What's going on, mates? Big up panel. Big up Surfer, of course, as always. Starting off with Haaland real quick. So I'm not trying to be all positive here, but so technically, right, if we put in a bid, then Dortmund, it's agreed in principle, I guess, behind the scenes. But I think no matter what, if we put in a bid, I think that's big enough. I think Dortmund's going to accept it no matter what. And secondly, like we just saw Malin, I wasn't here in the earlier parts of the show, but I've been following Malin, and I guess you guys were touching up on that, but I guess Malin's getting agreed, and I just saw on my phone they're looking after Demiral from Juventus, the center back. I guess they're signing a center back. and he's
spending the
valued.
money already.
Yeah, he's valued at another 39. So it's like, where's Dortmund getting this money from? I guess they need some money, right? So
Sancho.
hopefully
the money
that
is.
happens. But
No, but
Yeah.
even with the Sancho deal, I heard that they were having difficulty with the Marlon deal, even with that
Yeah,
money.
that's what I said
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Mm,
It was
mm.
like, and then the new FIFA news dropped about the agents' fees.
Yeah.
24
Yeah.
hours
Well,
later, the Marlin agreed deal came out. So it's
Yeah.
we know financially Dortmund are in a little bit, I'd say big trouble like Inter, but they're struggling. So they are looking to fund a lot of these players, you know. So
Yeah.
um,
And what I said before, I think on a stream before, previous stream, Baggy, they get, 70,000-80,000 a week.
Mhm.
And that's where a lot of their revenue comes from. Obviously,
Yeah.
they haven't had that revenue for, 18 months. So they're not as big as some others with commercial deals, etc. So most of theirs is gate receipts.
And just going back to the dispute real quick. So Tammy and Giroud, they had 23 goals on the season. We brought in 5 people, right? Kai Havertz, Timo, the list goes on. It was all transition seasons from them. So we're hoping and we're expecting better seasons from multiple people. Hopefully more people get goals. It's more spread out on that front. But we need 23 goals replaced, and that comes from a striker. So hopefully that's another reason we signed Haaland. It's interesting going to Declan Rice. I'm not like a Declan Rice, so I'm not going to back him here. But I played center defensive mid growing up. Like, I played soccer for a good 15, 20 years probably. And like a center defensive mid, you're a role player, right? Like, you're not supposed to come on this stat sheet that much. I think that's what he is. But bottom line, just in the aspect of the transfer deal, and again with Declan Rice, I don't think he's great enough to be valued at 80 to 100 million. Obviously, that's all common knowledge. But for 50 million, I mean, that's a bargain. Like, why wouldn't we do that? But besides the point, like I found it interesting that Declan Rice told his board to keep note on whatever offers comes in for him. And the same thing happened with Haaland, and he told his board that with his dad. So it's like, I mean, obviously players are going to want to come to Chelsea, but realistically, there's only so much they could do. And it's like, I feel like it's just set up for us. So just up the Chelsea. Hopefully we get Haaland.
Are you guys optimistic on this Haaland deal?
it's got to the point where it's just we know what needs to be done. I keep saying it, simplify the situation, and the situation is this. I agree with Winter Surfer. I think the agent fees are done. I think the players' wages are done. I think it's just what Chelsea want to lay down, and if it is the 130, then it's just the proof in the pud for me now. And look, I think, like what Winter Surfer said, I think they didn't expect us to even think of laying that money down. That's why they stuck the 150 on him in the first place. And now the fact that we've done that, it's really going to throw them or push them into a corner and force their hand in many ways. And I keep saying it. It doesn't make any sense that if Chelsea offer that money, they do not accept it. It just doesn't, and it doesn't make sense for them. It doesn't make sense for the Haaland camp, Raiola, because like we know already, he won't be earning nothing from next season from any deal that goes on with Haaland, or if he is earning anything, it'll be peanuts. His dad's earning quite a big bit from this. There's talks about them earning, I think it's 40 million, which Abramovic is even thinking of paying off in checks, which is, I mean, which owner does that? You know, this is how great our living owner is, you know what I mean? He's just dealing with it, do you know what I mean? So it benefits everyone. It just makes no sense for Dortmund to sit there and go, no, we don't want it. I want that money.
Was Dortmund waiting for this Malin deal to go through or to get finalised before they actually started to negotiate a Haaland thing seriously?
Yeah, because the money will go out, wouldn't it? Yeah. And the other thing is, because a lot of people were saying that they wouldn't get rid of Sancho and Haaland in the same window, and people are quoting the fact that they took a hit on Sancho this season, 20 million, if they sold him to Man United last season. But you've got to realise that in Champions League money is worth 40 million to them or whatever. What we're offering is 40 million plus 20. So we're doubling that deal. So even if it means that they miss out on the Champions League, they're still getting an extra 20 million if they made it into the Champions League. So, you know, if you're an accountant, you're crunching the numbers, it just makes perfect sense. You know, you look at worst case scenario, we don't make Champions League, how much are we going to lose out on? But, you know, you're still going to be getting that money plus.
Yeah. I will say, just to answer someone's question, Talk Blue keeps asking about Bakayoko. He's a poor man's party. And as soon as we get rid of him, the better. So I hope that answers the question. He's not going to stay. If Tuchel gets a tune out of Bakayoko, then you give him an ironclad 10-year contract at this club because the man's a miracle worker. Okay, But remember last week? I think it was a report last Sunday actually, about Haaland. Chelsea are definitely not going in. Haaland's definitely staying. The Chelsea fan base had a
mini heart attack
all at the same time. Yeah, they were going to go, oh man, and then through the week it's built up, and like you said, FIFA, like I said, I keep going back to it. FIFA announced their thing. The Marlin transfer was then announced afterwards or agreed, and now this. I think Raiola. I know Jem says peanuts. It's peanuts to Raiola 7.5 million next year, but to Jem and the rest of us, they're working about that is something we'll never see in our lifetime. But Raiola, that's why Raiola is moving up. Is trying to move Haaland and all the rest of his clients around this summer because he probably got heads up about it months in advance. But I think Raiola's extra incentive is to move him now. Obviously, he's going to get a massive wedge. And I just think, like we've said, I think Dortmund weren't expecting us to put a bid in. I think they think it's all paper talk. They're not going to do it. They're going to wait till next year. Oh, crap. Not oh, crap. Yeah. Oh, wow. They've actually put in the bid. We'd be stupid. For me, logic dictates they'd be stupid to turn that amount down, no matter if they miss out on the Champions League next season. And the money we give them compensates what they lose from the Champions League.
And like you said, it wouldn't leave a bad taste in our mouths, would it, really? Because if we'd done that, then in theory, we can't really point at the finger at the board and be angry. They've done what they had to do. You know, Dortmund played it.
I want no slander thrown at Marina.
No, they will. Again, they will. Our fan base will. They'll moan. Chelsea are crap. They didn't sign Haaland. They, but the truth is this, right? Dortmund, if that was the case, what Dortmund should have done fucking 3 weeks ago or a month ago is turn around and say, actually, even though we said 150, let's just say this. Any amounts of money that would be given to Haaland or offered to Haaland or to us this year, we will not accept. They haven't done that.
Yeah,
so
they've left the door open, haven't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's quite coincidental today. There's quite a lot of reports that have been leaked about Lukaku. Chelsea are still keen on getting Lukaku. Yeah. So again, I think that's just another negotiation ploy. That, you know what, if you turn it down, we'll move away and we'll go straight in for Lukaku. So I don't think we are. I just think we want that noise to be heard. So they say, oops, if we don't accept, Chelsea are going to go away and we're going to miss out on loads of money. So
yeah.
You know what? Here is a comment from Alex CFC. It's a big deal, so it's going to take time. I agree. Yes. I agree 100%. Yeah. But the thing is this. What Chelsea have done so far in relation to this deal, I believe it is correct because we haven't heard nothing, not a peep coming out of Chelsea, which shows us how serious they are about this deal. Yeah. The fact that we haven't heard anything is enough for me to know that Chelsea is doing whatever they can to get this deal done. Because if we had heard things, then that means it's not something serious. You know, they're not giving it the level of confidentiality, big word, that it deserves. All right, so Chelsea have done that. They've done that. Marina Granovkaia, what she has done in respect to this deal, she should be commended for, because this is a very complicated deal. And the fact that Dortmund have things in place for them that they need to achieve before they will allow this deal to happen, because I think Chelsea have said to them, you know, we will pay this. This is the amount we're going to pay. This is the contract that we're going to offer the lad, and the lad has agreed it. And this information that we've seen today, we saw this information a couple of weeks back. What we've seen today is nothing new. This context of this transfer deal and how it will be broken out, I made a video about this literally a couple of weeks ago, talking about this entire deal. So this information is nothing new, but Borussia Dortmund signing Malan or on the verge of signing Malan is something new. And this is the change, because for them to be able to compete and to continue moving forward next season, they are going to have to get in a striker. Yeah. And before they can sell their striker, they're going to get a striker in. And this is where we are today. Now, I think as a Chelsea fan, I want to see us give it this week as our ultimatum. Dortmund, we want this deal. We're prepared to pay you this money, but we've got to make this deal happen this week. Otherwise, we're going to have to make moves elsewhere. Yeah. I don't want to see us being pushed until the last day of the transfer window to sign a striker and a DM. Yeah. I want to be able to do that before that. I want to be able to negotiate and get the price down. And for me to do that, I got to do this deal before the end of the week. And I think this is where we are in regards to that. And again, Marina, she's doing a good job.
Yeah, great point you make, because deadline day deals, we don't do well with those, do we? Danny Drinkwater, Zappacosta, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that, to be honest. But yeah. That brought me back to a place I didn't want to be. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive. No, but look, I said this.
2017 never happened.
I think Louise was probably our best deadline day deal, wasn't it, when we bought him back?
Yeah. If we're going to get Haaland, it's good. And I've said this for a while. I've said this for a couple of weeks. It's going to be next week. I don't see. Obviously, you see in training the other day the Werners, the Havertz. Everyone's starting to slowly come back now. And if I'm Tuchel, I'm thinking from the manager's perspective right now. I would want him in. If we're getting him, I'd want him in sooner rather than later. I don't think Tuchel would like the idea of him coming in a week, maybe 5 days before the end. Don't get me wrong, we'd accept it, we'd take it because it's hard, he's still coming. But I don't think from a manager's perspective, Tuchel would want that, because he want a pre-season with him. He'd want him to have a bit of time to adapt, mix with the Havertzes, the Werners, the Ziyeches, So I think this week is so important, and I do think we're going to see something.
Don't you think, Jem, guys, that also after the Haaland thing, the most important thing is actually getting Rudiger, Kante, Christensen, Jorginho, all these new contracts sorted out. Once you've got 1 year left on their contracts, get them all sorted before you even think about bringing in someone else. Therefore, Tuchel would rather have knowing that Rudiger and Christensen, who are important parts of his defence, have got new contracts that are now settled, so he doesn't have to worry about it. A possibility of either one of them being sold, because if they don't agree contracts, which probably Rudiger's the most likely not to agree, if there is one, then you'd have to sell him, and then you have to bring someone else. That's why I keep hearing the rumours about he likes Malang Sarr. He wants to keep Malang Sarr in the squad and everything like that. But I would rather focus after Haaland, if it gets done, or Lukaku, if it gets done. The next important thing for me, more than selling anyone, is getting those players with 1 year contracts sorted and done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
to settle the squad down even more.
Yeah, Eric, before you come in, I want to just address this comment. And before I address this comment, lads, we've got over or just under 400 people in the chat and only 184 likes. 16 away from 200. Let's get that 200 like benchmark, lads. So if you haven't liked the stream, please do so. I have a comment here talking about how is this deal more complicated than the Havertz one. Well, there's a lot of different factors. I mean, firstly, the Havertz deal was done under a normal global situation. There was no pandemic. There was none of this. A lot of the clubs at the time had money. Some were having financial problems for other reasons, but other clubs were able to bid. They were able to offer the man monies. The man wanted to leave. He wasn't so sure about his team getting Champions League football. He wanted another challenge. A youngster, German superstar on the brink of achieving success. And Bayern Leverkusen are not Bayern Borussia Dortmund. They're different. All right. They're different. So these are all different aspects that make this deal different. Regardless of Borussia Dortmund selling one of their biggest players just before us making this deal, I mean, imagine us selling at the time Hazard and Kante in the same season. It would be very tough for us to do. And this is the kind of situation that Borussia Dortmund are in right now. Therefore, we're going to have to try to force them to make this sale. Ideally, they don't want to make the sale until next season, but they know that with Chelsea offering them this amount of money, it'll be hard for them to turn it down. So these are the different variables when it comes to this deal. Eric Blue, sorry man, I cut you off. You were about to say something.
Before he does that, I'm your 200th like, by the way.
Appreciate you, Max. Thank you. We done it. All right, brilliant.
Nice.
205, brilliant. Thank you, lads. Thank you for hitting the like button. Much appreciated. And also, if you haven't subscribed, think about it. It would be good for you to do it.
Yeah.
Blue Lounge is kicking off, and it's going to be showing you bigger and better things. So if you haven't liked it, give it a consideration. Go on, Eric.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to what Winter Sofa was saying about the contracts. So I think Chelsea should be in negotiations anyway, whether we're trying to get a huge signing or not. I think Jorginho is in talks with the club for a new contract. So I think Rudiger should be in talks as well, you know. So I'm expecting Rudiger to be having these conversations, and Christensen and any other player who needs to get a new contract potentially. I have no reason to think that Rudiger doesn't want to stay at Chelsea longer, because he, from the press conference.
Go on, Eric.
Yeah, from the press. Sorry, I have an intruder. Sorry. From the press conference. From the press conference, we saw that Rudiger, I think he wants to stay. So I think he's willing to stay for longer. Maybe he would want certain assurances, but I'm expecting him to want to stay for longer. So I have no reason to think he wants to leave, or he's thinking of somewhere else. So yeah, hopefully he stays. Hopefully those important signings are made, and we can move on, because we need our players, especially the defenders. Yeah.
All right. I've got a new guest on the channel, G Star. G Star, how are you? Give us a little bit about your background and what's your thoughts on the topic. G Star, I can't hear you, mate. Hello. He's having, I think, mic issues. I'll go back to Jake. Jake, you didn't introduce yourself when you came in. I'm guessing you have your own channel. Give us a bit of feedback about, or a bit of background information about your where you're from and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm 20 years old. Got a little bit of a late birthday, but I'm about to be a senior at Indiana University. And just thought I'd start up my own channel, talk with my own boys here about transfer news right now, of course, but after games, before games, I guess. But we'll see what's good.
All right, brilliant. I think G Star might have his mic back on. G Star, can you hear me? Nah. G Star got mic issues. Fix them and come back. You're more than welcome to come back to the stream. Lads, this stream has been on for an hour and almost 20 minutes. It's been a great stream. I want to give everyone here a chance to give me their final thoughts before we conclude the stream. Before everyone goes, we will have another stream later on tonight, because I have a feeling something is going to break later on tonight. And if it does, I will be streaming later on tonight. I'm going to start with Andrew and then work my way around. Final thoughts, Andrew.
I'm cautiously optimistic, as I am with all transfers, until I see the club say we've agreed to no undisclosed fee, and then I know we've signed it. I think it will progress further and further day by day, and by the end of the week, I think we might see some guys say, "Here we go." We'll never hear what Chelsea will never disclose what the actual fee is, because they never do with these things. But hopefully, when we sign him, every Chelsea fan can decompress and just wait for the new season to start. And then, you know what, Mo? They can announce they've signed Adama Traore. They can announce they signed Danny Ings as a backup striker. I don't care. As long as I hear the words we signed Haaland, I do not care. You know what I mean? I'm even happy if they keep Kepa at the moment as second goalkeeper if we sign Haaland. That's how much I want this guy. But yeah, I'm thinking we'll see it progress and ramp up as soon as, because I know Fabrizio Romano said, "Here we go for the Marlon deal." I'm just waiting to see him hold the kit. He said once I think they announce him on their website, I think we'll see a ramp up of the Haaland deal. That's what I think.
Yep. Jim?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have been up to now, all of us, is we've been starved in many ways, but also just continue to be patient. You know, the fact that Chelsea are quiet isn't always a bad thing. You should know from last year in terms of the Havertz deal and how that went. Chelsea will not lay an official bid until they know Dortmund are going to accept it, along with how big the contract is as well. Maybe these things will take time. Remember, this is going to break records, Premier League records. This is going to set the new trend in world football. This is something that can't just happen overnight, and sometimes we just need to just be patient on it, and hopefully we get it done and we bring him in. For me, he's my first choice, and he has been. People that know me, Winter Surfers know me long enough. I've always said I want Haaland more than Lukaku and everyone else. He's the guy that I've always wanted.
Yep.
So hopefully we get it done. If we don't, then I just hope that we do bring in a top striker still. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I've not decided the time for the next stream. The next stream will be really depending on what happens in the on the Chelsea timeline, Chelsea Twitter. So if we hear something, if there's something that needs to be discussed, we'll come back on. But there may not be another stream tonight. But we'll see in regards to the news. Eric, final thoughts, mate.
Yeah, it's like what everybody said. We have to just be patient. As much as we don't like it, the silence is a good thing, because that usually happens before something happens, with Chelsea. So, just waiting for any kind of developments to happen, and then hopefully we get the striker. Hopefully, by this time in a week from now, maybe 13 days from now, we should have some serious developments, and we should have some more things to talk about, hopefully. So I just wanna move on now and get on with preseason and to get on with the new season. Preseason, the match against, is it I'm not even sure what is it, Bournemouth or one of these teams on the 27th. So yeah, we need to just wait until eventually it happens. I still want a DM, but I'll be fine with Haaland by himself. So yeah,
I think the striker situation is the most urgent one. The other positions, we have enough cover to to get to the January transfer window and maybe do a deal then. But the striker situation is the most urgent one. So Dwaki is asking, why didn't I know about the name change? So Dwaki, I did it last night. I've been thinking about it for a while, but last night I came up with the idea to go ahead and do it, and we've done it. And I think you will agree it's a good change. It's a good change. There's more changes on the way. Hopefully, also positive ones. Jake, final thoughts, mate.
Yes, sir. So just going back to when we touched up on Rice, I think it's definitely with City getting Kane and Grealish. I don't see us getting Haaland and Rice. It's definitely more unlikely. But regarding Haaland, just hope we get him, boys. Just got to secure the bag. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Haaland deal is the most crucial one. Benton Bowlers, you can sign out the stream, mate. What's your final thoughts of where we are, man?
Yeah, sorry, my phone overheated for some reason. It's got me kicked out. Yeah, so similar to what Winter Surfer said, actually, is like I said before, once that official bid is in, and I think we can pull it off, because the money's too good for Dortmund to turn down. So there's a lot of noise, and then, as we always say, there's no smoke without fire. So I'm hoping in this case that is the case, and we do put in this mammoth bid, and that is accepted by Dortmund. I saw in the chat earlier that somebody, I'm not sure you discussed this, about what happens if he fails. This guy, I think he looks the real deal for me, and if he's in and we create the chances, he's got, not only has he got the ability, he's got the belief. Yeah, because if you look at someone like a Morata, he's not a bad striker. You can see that he's got it in him, but he just hasn't got that belief. He hasn't got that killer instinct. He hasn't got that winning mentality to get to the very top. All these things I see with Haaland. He's got it all. He's got that self-belief. He reminds me of a young Diego Costa in that way. And he'll succeed anywhere he goes, I think. And I'll put my house on it that if he does come to us, he'll be a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with you there. Listen, this story is gonna drag on, and this week we're gonna be hearing a hell of a lot more news on this story.
Sorry, Mo.
Go on.
Someone just ban Station Secret? Don't put him in the timeout. Can you put hide on the channel, please, as the option?
I'm blocking him right now.
Because it's just
he's blocked. Blocked.
Just. Sorry, Mo. I didn't mean to do
No, it's all good. I thought I blocked him earlier. Apparently, I just put him on a timeout. Yeah. I'm going to be adding a lot more moderators onto the stream because it's getting big. So
you don't need trash like that.
I'll be adding more moderators. Listen, we do not want to see any of that talk on this channel. So if any of the moderators see that, please go right ahead. You have my permission to block people. Anyone that wants to talk that way, just go ahead and block them straight away. I'll make you.
Just add all of us here. We'll do it. Just add us here.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I'm just gonna. Here we go. All right, where's Winter Surfer?
I'll put me in. I'll put message in now. I'm at the bottom.
All right, hold up.
It's always the case, isn't it? You always get idiots that just can't just enjoy a stream and be, be normal.
Especially if that guy's a Chelsea fan. I mean, especially recent history.
Do you know what the best thing to do though with these people?
Yeah, they're legends.
You know what we need to do with these people though is just literally he wants the attention. Just ignore
attention.
It. That is what you got to do. That's the only reason he's doing it. He wants the attention.
Right.
So
get rid of that trash.
just don't even entertain it.
Yeah.
I've just made 5 new mods. Tommy, Zvio Genius, and Jem, and also Andrew. Burton Bowlers, I think you're already on mod on here. I'm not sure if Eric is on mod. Hold on, let me have a look. Is Eric a mod? No, Eric is not on mod. I'm making you on mod, Eric. There we go. Eric, you're on mod now. Right, so we've got enough mods, hopefully, to keep the trash out. Lads, fantastic stream. Brilliant stream.
Brilliant.
Really did enjoy it. And, we'll do it again, hopefully, tonight. Hopefully, we'll get that breaking news that we all been waiting for tonight. And if we don't, it will definitely come out this week. This week, it's tomorrow or the day after. So, lads, thank you for taking part. Appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. And if you haven't liked, please do it. And I'll see you all in my next stream. Take care of yourselves.
Cheers, Maggie. Cheers, everyone else.
Peace.
Cheers. Bye-bye.